Hello and welcome to the I Am Evolution podcast. Spirit guide and soul sage Raina shares the knowledge of the universe to awaken and raise consciousness within. All of us have forgotten who we are and why we are here. But if we open our minds to new knowledge, we can use duality to achieve different perspectives to regain our unity. When we expand our awareness within, our possibilities become limitless. Let's begin to remember who we truly are and fulfill our mission and purpose to become conscious. And now, let's start the show.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Sessions. I'm your host, Raina, and today is Saturday, February 14, 2024. So guess what, everybody? I'm back. That's right, I am. I know I'm being a little cheesy right now, but I am excited to be back. It has been a very long time, and I think it's been about 5 months. And yeah, it just I needed it though, guys. You know what? We talk about this all the time in so many shows and podcasts and everything like that. But to be honest with you, I needed this break. I needed this 5-month break, and it has been much needed. I've been doing all kinds of things. Before we get into today's show, if you've been following my social media, you guys know for the past five and a half months, I have done nothing of the sorts with this type of work. And mostly because, like I said, I needed the break. But honestly, it was just like there's just so much to talk about. And today's show, we're going to kind of talk about just going through hell. But during this time, I did have one outlet, and the one outlet was mostly training for pool. If you're following my social media, then you know that during this time, I was asked to be a semi-pro pool player. And I'm so excited. Actually, right now, as this video is being aired, I'm actually in the tournament right now. So this is a pre-recording. But yeah, I'm so excited, guys. I really am. I'm so excited. I'm kind of nervous that today is my first women's semi-pro tour. Like, honestly, I picked up a pool cue for the first time. Well, I mean, I played once in a blue moon here and there, but nothing for real. But for the first time back at the end of July of last year, so a little over 6 months. And a few months into it, someone came up to me and said, "Hey, Raina, they didn't know my name, but hey, you're a pretty good shooter, and we think you'd be great to do in the women's semi-pro tour for Florida." So yeah, I'm a Tiger now. I'm a Florida Tiger. I'm so honored to be there. I'm also sponsored by Grover's Billiards over here in West Palm Beach. It's an amazing pool hall. There's just so many wonderful things have happened. Like I said, between being sponsored by Grover's and being picked up by the Florida Tigers, win my semi-pro thing, and just the break, I feel refreshed. I really do. And I want to talk about, let's get into today's show, because I don't want to bore you with my old life details and everything like that, because you're not here to listen about my life. We're here to help you, right? But so let's talk about what it's like to go through hell, and we're not meaning actual hell, because we know that there is no such thing as actual hell. But we're talking about the conscious death of oneself, going through hell itself, emotionally, mentally, physically. And you guys got to remember that this is the last year of the jump. We're 2 months into the last year of the jump. And then at the start of 2025, man, we're off to the races in 5D. And a lot of us are experiencing so many difficulties, including myself. I'm putting up my hand because it is just one of those things where God, man, it has been, I'm sorry, I don't want to swear, I don't like swearing, but it has been kicking my double S. And I've been facing so many different things. And I know that if you're going through this 5D transformation, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. You are facing a dogfight every single day. You're having these 5D symptoms of memory loss, irritability, mood swings. It's just like, it's funny because I always say I have an eidetic memory, because I do. And like, there's times I'll just space out and I'll be like, wait, what was I saying? And everyone's like, Raina, I thought you had an eidetic memory. And I was like, wait a minute. I can't remember things. And it's like, what is going not. And then I started wondering, well, is it my illness that I've been dealing with? Which, by the way, if people has been improving a lot. I feel so much better. I've been clean on my diet. My food allergies has really contributed to a lot of that. And once I got clean and stopped, goofing around with cheating here and there. And just different things like that. It just made my body feel a whole much better. Plus, I've been back supplementing things. I've been juicing real crazy. If you guys don't know, we've opened up a juicing company. We are selling organic cold pressed juices. So if you guys are interested, but a lot of things have been going into this. And so like I've been trying to curb my anxiety and my hyperactivity and all this different things because boy, am I having a hard time concentrating. But the biggest thing that I am facing is facing old wounds. I've been revisiting things that I have like put to rest, situations, not even just in this lifetime, but in past lifetimes and in my other lifetimes on other planets and everything like that. And it has just been like gunfire, one thing after another, and it has been relentless. And if you've been around me, if you're somebody that knows me that lives in Florida and stuff, then you know that you haven't heard from me much because when I am going through things, I'm giving you this as a little piece of advice. I know sometimes you want to reach out to people for emotional stability or like some type of comfort or anything like that. But when you are going through some of this, a lot of what you are going through, people aren't going to understand. And it's kind of like your own little world. And this is something that is much needed for you to go through because when I go through something, I withdraw. And, it's funny because you have to allow the pain and suffering. You have to allow these things to become you, and I'm telling you people, and I'm not lying because everyone thinks like, if you know me on a personal basis and that, then you probably think that I'm this all conscious person that floats in the air and just is always, and that's far from the truth because, during especially this time, man, I was hating myself and I was hating the world. I hated everybody, man. I allowed myself to become my pain and suffering because, most of you think that in order to be spiritual or conscious that you can never be upset, you can never be angry, you can't be these things because being these things all of a sudden mean that I'm not this person, and that takes us back to Raina's no words. I'm not Miss Raina anymore. I'm just Raina now because Miss Raina died, and it's like one of those things where you go back into the no words and you're like, well, I have to be positive, right? No, you don't. You have to be who you are in those moments and you have to allow yourself. And if that means you have to, sometimes go a little crazy. And let me tell you, people, it is perfectly healthy to go a little crazy. It really is, because when you're dealing with disorientation and memory loss and irritability and mood swings and all these past, all this karmic bonds are coming back to teach you things and everything, and your energy is changing, and you're basically having emotional, trauma vomit. I'll coin that phrase, by the way, emotional trauma vomit. I like and when you're having these things, it's hard. Like you are going to go a little crazy because you're tackling so much at once, and I want you to know that it's okay because I go through it too. Caleb understands that, or he's starting to understand. It's taken us some time a little bit. He still hasn't got it quite, but he's learning that my house and my area is a sanctuary. Nobody comes here. And the reason why is because when I step out those doors, all of a sudden I have to be on all the time. I always have to, no matter where I go, what I do, I always have to listen to people's problems and challenges and emotions and everything like that. And I never get a break. Even in a pool tournament, people come up to me and start dumping on me all their stuff. And that's fine. That's what I'm here to do. And I've learned to handle it. It's not being an emotional punching bag I know when to say no and cut people off. But, when I come back here, this is my sanctuary. This is where I need to rest and digest and, be in the feminine aspect. Because the moment I go out there, man, I turn on that masculine energy. I turn on that positive side of the force and just go out, do what I have to do, get it all done. But when I come here, I am total feminine. I, look at myself. I address everything that I experience. I did all these things, and it's healthy, because sometimes when we're going through such challenges, it may make us feel like we're a little batty in the head. And you know what, people, that is okay, because it is okay to be a little crazy in the head. I mean, none of us. I've yet to meet anybody that is like 100% totally sane, no problems, no issues, nothing else in the world. And if you ever meet one of those people are in such denial. So, and honestly, like, I always look at it as like, the more I dive into this, the more I do, I know that I'm becoming healthy. Because if I didn't start that journey, if I didn't go back into the Chamber of Obsidian, because I put myself back in that, if I didn't put myself back into the chamber, then I don't know where I'd be now. I knew that I was going through stuff. I knew that I was really struggling. I was starting to become irritable. I was starting to become resentful. I was starting to become just like, I like short with people and just, get away from me. And I know when I'm becoming like that I'm overwhelmed with ideas and that I need to heal myself. And in order for me to heal myself, I put myself back into the chamber. The Chamber of Obsidian, we have shows on that, by the way, and we'll probably go through it again. The Chamber of Obsidian is a very loving place, but man, it is brutal at the same time. It will stick something in your face and say, you better deal with this, figure it out. We are not going to give you any clues. We're not going to, you got to do it. And we're just going to keep shoving it in your face over and over and over until you figure it out. And you know what? The chamber isn't for everybody, but there are stages of the chamber. Like we're having a retreat in July over in Albuquerque, and I'm so excited for that, by the way. And I'll tell you that at the end of the show. But that's going to be one of the activities. And what's nice about this is I can program it for people to do what it needs without overwhelming people so much. Because where I'm at, I go in it, man. I rip off everything and say, okay, torture me, hang me up, strip my skin off, and just brutalize me until I go through it, because I'm used to that. I can handle that. I understand that. But it's okay, people, to be going through these challenges. It's okay to look at yourself and say, you know what, I'm like this, this so-called conscious person. But I'm a person first. And if I'm here, that means I'm here to learn. One of the things that I noticed that a lot of people have a hard time with, or I see people struggle with, is the people that call themselves healers. Everybody who thinks that they are a healer thinks that they were put on this earth to heal somebody else or to heal everybody else. And let me tell you something, and I'm sorry if this offends you, but that is furthest from the truth. And I even thought that coming into this life. I was like, well, I have these healing gifts. I have these guides that are helping me, teaching me all this stuff. I'm this spirit guide. I'm this soul sage. I'm here to heal the world. And and I was wrong. Raina was wrong, because you realize that you can't heal most people. Most people aren't here to be healed. And the ones that are, and that's the reason why I became a teacher. That's the role that I really realized that I was meant to be for, was to be a teacher of consciousness, to teach people how to evolve through consciousness, through their pain and suffering, through the positive and negative aspects of duality, the polarity, etc., and allowing myself to go through it in suffering, so that I can experience pure suffering at its raw form, so that I realize that by helping me, by healing me, by changing me and transforming me, my energy and my actions and my thought process, my consciousness of love and compassion automatically radiate in the world. And because I am the planet, and the planet is me, and I am the universe, and I'm a god, and you're a god, and we're all one big idea. And that by changing me heals those and reaches out to those that are at the stage for growth. And so, so a long time ago, I realized that building, suffering builds, like as they say, builds character, but it also builds strength. And in that strength of challenging myself, in that strength of going through hell, so to speak, and allowing myself to go back into the Chamber of Obsidian, and that allows me to reanalyze at everything all over again. At this time, I said, you know what, Raina, I don't want anyone around me right now. I am like really angry and upset, and I'm hating everybody. I'm hating the world right now. Deep down, do I really hate people in the world and everything? No, I didn't. But the raw emotion of what the pain and suffering that I was feeling, which was linked to something else, was a symptom of me hating everybody and everything, because it was my way of saying, Raina, you need a break from everybody. You need a break from your work. You really need to go in and look at yourself. You really need to see who you are. And there's things that you have to process in order to evolve and transcend to the next phase of your life so that you can grow. And this is a constant thing, people. This isn't something like it's a one and done deal. Like most people think, oh, I'm going through the 5D and I'm going to be in this 5D world. I'm just going to transform into this world. I'm going to wake up one day and it's going to be a totally different world, and I'm not going to live here on earth. And that's the furthest thing from the truth, because that is not what actually happens. So during this time, when I realized this, I walked away from all my friends. I walked away from my family. I walked away from everybody. I put on my headphones. If you know me in public, when I'm doing my thing like pool and stuff, I put on my headphones. I start jamming to my music and I lock in and I don't talk to anyone. I could be around 500 people and I'm the only one sitting there by myself rocking out to music, just in my own world and stuff like that. Because even when I'm in this space of love and compassion and I'm out of the chamber and stuff like that, I'm still always there because I love my own space. But when I'm really frustrated, I walk away from everybody. Someone comes up, starts talking to me. I'm like, and I just stop them in the middle of the conversation. I'm like, I'm sorry. I was like, my boundary. I'm not in the space for that. And I tried getting a part-time job during this time, and I had to quit that because I started fighting with a friend or an ex-friend of mine who's now an ex-friend. Sometimes people like control, and obviously I'm a very dominant, strong personality, and I just didn't like someone trying to control me at work. So unfortunately, I had to walk away from that, and I really, really liked that job too. It was nice just not having any responsibility, but just feeding people and just enjoying the job. And the bosses were great too. It was really sad because I got along with everybody but this one person who actually helped me get the job. But again, I told Caleb, it's funny because every time I try to walk away from this work, they bring me right back into this. And so I was fighting with everybody during this time. Caleb, my mom, my sister, and I haven't talked to my sister in months. It really has been, and I need to pick up the phone and talk to her again and everything like that. Because when I'm not in the headspace, and this is something for us to understand, when you're not in that headspace, people, you have to remove yourself from everybody and anything. If you're one of those that are struggling with, well, I don't like to be alone, I don't like to be in my own space, that's when you need to be alone and in your own space. You need to learn to love, to be with your own self and to be in your own space. And if you're one of those people that are like, oh, I love my own space because people piss me off and I hate people and they're all rude, I like animals. If you're one of those, then you have to learn to be in your own space for a different reason. And that's because I need to work on myself. I need to do that. I allowed myself, people, to go down in flames. I crashed and burned. And let me tell you something, you need to allow yourself to crash and burn. It needs to hurt so bad that you can't breathe, that all you're doing is crying day in and day out. And I know this sounds scary for a lot of you but you have to take it in steps and build on it. Like I got to the point in my life and my evolution where I can say, okay, everybody, like I said, I enter the chamber, strip me away from my skin, my ego, everything, and just come at me, gunfire, and here's your problems, and let me cry. And I've gotten to that point. You may not be there yet. And so do it in baby steps. Do it in where you can handle one thing at a time. but start facing the issues and challenges at hand. I know I think we're at 18 minutes. We're going to be cutting it short because sessions is only 20 minutes, but allow yourself to do this. Allow yourself to crash and burn. Allow yourself to crumble. And because you know what, I don't, when I'm around this, I don't want anybody around me because I know that I'm moody and I'm not feeling good. And I got sick during this time, even a physical cold and stuff. And I allow myself to crumble. And then when I come out, if you ever have, I don't know if you guys have ever done a sweat lodge, but if you guys have ever done a sweat lodge, do you remember your very first one, how intense it was? And you're like, oh my God. And you're like, I'm dying in here. It's so hot. And you're sweating. You can't see anything. And all you're doing is faced with yourself. And they just keep heating it up more and more and more. But when you come out of that, man, the air is so cold and crisp and everything seems bright and the stars look beautiful and just like the mountains and everything. It is just an amazing feeling. It's like you're reborn. That is the point of a sweat lodge. And that is the point of the chamber and doing this type of work, the 5D work. If you are not feeling reborn after this, and you're at the point where you just think it's everybody else and this and that, and you haven't learned boundaries, you haven't learned these things, you haven't learned to be raw with yourself and change when you come up. Because I have different views of myself and life now than I did 5 months ago. Like during this time, I kept questioning, well, Raina, who are you? Let's strip away the spirit guide. Let's strip away the soul sage. Let's strip away the teacher. Let's strip away the friend, the sister and all this stuff. Who are you? And why? And I kept saying, well, why am I? Why am I here? Why am I the person that I am? Why did I come to be this person? Why am I suffering with these challenges? Why? And where am I? Who am I? Why am I? Where am I? And I started asking myself all these questions. And I realized that I have to allow myself to let it all die again. Like I did when I did ayahuasca a year ago back in January, I realized that I had to let it all die again. And it just had to fall. And again, like this year is not over. It's only in February and I'm still going to be going through all these different things and I'm going to be allowing myself to evolve and grow. This is the reason why this type of work, and I've decided that I'm no longer going to work with just anybody anymore. I'm only going to work with the people that truly want to change and truly want to grow. And I know that's such a very small percentage of people. And that's okay because I'm going to be doing other things like the juicing company and different things like that, because before it was like my whole business was relying on helping people. And I realized that people don't want help. People are afraid to face themselves. And when you put in the face, like, hey, we're going to change and we're going to grow. And this might mean you change your relationships, friends, job, everything, man, people run for the hills. And you know what? I just don't want to, I love people. I know that they're all aspects of myself, but the only aspect that I want to work with from here on out, and the only aspect that I'm going to work out with myself is the aspect of I really want to help and grow myself, not help other people. Maybe that's something you'll do in the future or whatever, but hey, I know I got work to do. I'm willing to go through it. I'm willing to go with whatever. I'm willing to go through the boot camp, the pain, the suffering. I'm willing to go through and a lot of people aren't going to, like 99.9% people are going to run the other way and say, oh, I'm a spiritual person. I'm here to save the world. I'm this, I'm, pray to a God, pray to this, pray to a universe, let's manifest boats and money and cars and everything. And that's fine because that's where they're at in the evolution. But in this evolution, I am evolution. I am Raina. This is where everything's going. And this is the beauty of coming out of the chamber, the clarity, the focus, the determination, the power of who I am now. And that's when you got to let it all die. So, all right, guys, it is over 22 minutes. We got to wrap it up because, sessions is only a 20-minute show. But anyways, the last thing I'm going to talk about is our Albuquerque retreat. Guys, if you're one of those that are going through the 5D, and you really want to evolve through the 5D, we're doing an Albuquerque retreat called the 5D Evolution Retreat. It is July 18th through the 23rd. It is going to be $555 for the event, plus your flight and hotel. We are working with a hotel company to get, or because a friend of ours that lives there knows somebody that runs a hotel, and they can get us for really, really cheap and everything like that. A nice hotel, and Albuquerque is not expensive and everything like that. It's a lovely place. I love it. But we figured, because people are paying for their flights and their hotel, we don't want to make this astronomical for people. Yes, we could have charged $2,000 just for the event plus all that stuff. But when we looked at it, we said, you know what? Let's make it accessible for everything. Something that's quality, but still, affordable for people, especially since the economy has gone up in prices. So people, like I said, if you're ready, this is something you don't want to miss, because we are going to have such an amazing time. It's going to be such a transformational day. We're only going to do 4 out of those 6 days. We're only going to do 4 of those days. If you want to spend another day and come to us with Star Dreaming, it's going to be $666, and that is going to be an extra day. So you'll be 5 days there, and your first day of flight and your last day is going to be a flight well, and in between we're going to be working through those. But anyways, if you have any questions, comments about the show or about that, please email us at imevolution@protonmail.com. And during this transformational phase, our website got taken down because I guess some program was putting backups on it, and Namecheap just deleted everything. So we have no radio shows, no podcasts, no blogs, nothing. But we are reconstructing everything to get a brand new website, and the website will be imevolution33.com. It's going to be totally redone, revamped, rebranded, everything. I'm so excited because the guy, the web designer Kelly, is working on it. So far, from what I can see, he's doing a fabulous job, and I'm just so excited. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Oh God, it's just so good to be back. It's so good to see you guys and be with you guys, and I love you, and we'll see you soon.